Clint and I have kids of the same age.
Not together.
My kids, yeah. Yeah.
Why am I here? What's going on?
It's quite a silly dream that I've had over a dozen times.
If they do, they're annoying.
Yeah, some people do.
We're not doing the same thing that we're kind of criticizing in the film and being destructive.
Beautiful, ain't it? What is? I loved the novella when I read it years ago. I loved the character, I loved the purity of the character. It was just not a typical protagonist for a movie who, instead of kind of being dynamic, kind of out there changing the world, is absorbing the world around him, which I think is most of us. You know, I don't feel, most of us feel like we're in control of everything, you know. And I think people like to see their own lives reflected, and there's something in this story that allows people to reach in and have a recollection of their own love and their own family and their own moments of loss and grief and recovery. And I think this film, more than anything I've ever been involved in, you know, makes you come away with this feeling of cherishing, as Clint said, cherishing the things that, and to realize that you are here right now, and how special that can be.
I suppose it was the nature aspect of the movie and the kind of lessons, certain lines in the movie I found really beautiful and moving. That's sort of what drew me to it.
It was really, the script was really well written, and it was almost quite like a book. It was really moving. You felt the confidence of the writing behind it. And it was telling a story, you know, it was telling a bigger story about, I guess, progress and the price of progress. But also it was telling a story of love and grief.
As human beings, we really use the planet more than we integrate with it. You know, in indigenous cultures, there was always a sense, is a sense that we belong to the planet, whereas I think Western ideology is very much like the planet belongs to us, and it's like it's passively not going to fight us back, so we'll just take from it. But it is, you know, whether what side of things you believe in terms of the nature debate, it is fighting back, and it fights back when it does in big blows. And I do think we have to be kinder to it and remember that we're actually one of the animals that lives on the planet, rather than some separate force that hovers over everything and presumes to control everything.
I didn't think you'd be on this soon.
Well, I just couldn't stop walking until I got here.
There's a lot of people who have commented on how much they love the use of natural light in this movie as well. Why was that important for you, Clint?
All the props
Couldn't
for that
afford lights.
You're like, well, what are we going to do? Adolfo Veloso is an amazing cinematographer, and I think, you know, the fact that it looks so beautiful is because of him. But really it was just about, you know, you're portraying a time and people who live in the natural world and trying to be as close to that as possible in terms of what it feels like. And so that was a big aspect in terms of shooting with natural light. Also, you can't recreate a sunset, you know? Like, there's no better lighting setup than like what's out there on a day-to-day basis.
I suppose every movie's real different, you know, like location-wise, I'd never filmed in the Pacific Northwest. And it was quite small, actually. The crew and all, it was all quite small, wasn't it? Yeah, because the lights, it was all natural lights. There weren't carting around lights everywhere. So I guess the location was the trees are so massive up in the Pacific Northwest, like huge.
Yeah, it felt like it was quite a personal adventure as well as a job. You know, the idea that you'd be shooting in that environment, you know, traveling from London, it's a long way away. It's very different from the environment that quite an urban environment that I live in. So there was the kind of the spirit of the pioneer, channeling some of that in going out to that location to shoot there. But it was actually a big part of wanting to do the job was that we would be shooting outdoors a lot, and there's that amazing light on the West Coast as the sun goes down, this pink light that Adolfo and Clint are so good at capturing in the film.
a lot of the challenge in filming was filming on location, and filming in the actual space in Washington State where the film is set. But the big thing that we wanted to do with the chopping down of the trees was make sure that we're not doing the same thing that we're kind of criticizing in the film and being destructive. And so with all of those, it's only actually a couple of trees, but we went into areas where there was logging already being done and where trees were already marked to be taken down, and then we just set up a camera while they cut them down.
He was adorable.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, he was.
Lovely. I feel like Clint's a bit like a swan. He's just so serene, but I think there's a lot of like legwork underneath
probably.
that he doesn't want you to kind of worry about. He just lets you kind of do your thing.
Also, he's in it for the right reasons. Do you know, this is an industry, tracks a lot of narcissists for obvious reasons, and people who are, you know, arrogant. And Clint is like so talented and makes stuff that kind of is real art, because it does kind of make you think. And like Sing Sing was, you know, a good example of that. And this movie, so I feel like he's like a true artist and a person who you kind of think like that's kind of what you want to see more of in this industry, is people who aren't in it to be famous or telling the whole crew what to do all the time.
Yeah.
That they're collaborators.
Yeah, and you trust his storytelling. Mm-hmm. You know, you feel like he's a good person, and you're going to be in safe hands.
This is rough work, gentlemen. Not just on the body. We just cut down trees that have been here for 500 years. Upsets a man's soul whether you recognize it or not.
Dreams are given so much importance in this movie. Do either of you have a dream that reoccurs that you have?
No, I'd love that though, because I'd be really intrigued to know what it meant.
Yeah, I used to I haven't had it for ages, but being naked on stage, which I feel is like a classic actor's dream. Like not knowing your lines.
Not knowing your lines is a horrific
being
one.
like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? What's going on?
Helps with the nerves, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Current dreams, no, but I do dream loads in a plane. Isn't that weird? 'Cause
Must
I'm like,
be the altitude, maybe.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I always think like crazy, like I'm up in the sky, like where am I?
Yeah,
Anyways.
you can't think about it too much, so can you on a plane?
You have recurring dreams?
Yeah, I had a recurring.
Oh, what is it?
It's quite a silly dream that I've had like over a dozen times. I'm walking past a stadium of some kind, and it's always a different sporting event. Like, say the Olympics are going on, and I'm just walking by. Someone runs out and sees me and goes, hey, you, can you run? And I'm like, yeah. And I end up like filling a spare lane in a semi-final or whatever of an event, or it's a cricket game. It's like, do you know how to bowl? I'm like, I once upon a time, and I end up being instrumental in winning. But there's always
Very specific.
final or a grand final left to come, and then my anxiety kicks in. So I get integrated into the team. And then I've got to step up to the final. So I blagged it. I winged it on the semi-final, and now I've got to play in the championship. Wow. And then my anxiety kicks in. And then just before the game starts, I wake up.
Wow. We could psychoanalyze this for a while.
Yeah.
The next movie together.
It says a lot about me.
It.
It does. It says a lot about who I am.
You think that she knows that I'm her daddy?
Deep down, she knows it. Even if she doesn't know she knows it yet.
We've talked about it a lot, and just that we have an appreciation for life. You know, I think like we can always, especially in the West, we find ourselves like looking ahead and thinking what's next and striving for something. And in doing that, we oftentimes forget that we're living our life right now, and that a simple life and a good life is a really great thing to have. And so if audiences come away with just an appreciation for life itself, I think that's beautiful.
Why do you choose films that may have more impact? Like, why is that important for you both?
I know, it's funny that, isn't it? It's funny that somehow that's important. Not with every film that you do, because I think some films, you know, sometimes you like watching a film because it's fun and escapist. But I think if you feel moved by something and it resonates with you, then you kind of want other people. You want other people to have that feeling. And if your beliefs mirror what is being said through the film, then
you can stand by it.
Yeah, that feels important.
In the forest, every least thing's important. It's all threaded together, so you can't tell where one thing ends and another begins.
How hard of a challenge is it to become a realised character when you actually don't have lots of dialogue?
I think it was harder for Joel than it was, for me. I think experience helps a little bit, because the more you work, the kind of more better you get at like being relaxed.
Fake relaxed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when you were starting off, there was like no way I would be relaxed.
Yeah, you get more confident, I guess, don't you?
And you're also like, I don't know, cut to somebody else, worst case
yeah,
scenario.
exactly. They'll figure it out in the edit. But I actually like having less lines. I sort of find that easier. Sometimes there's so much more that can be communicated, not through dialogue.
Yeah,
I hate it when
that's
they've got a
true.
scene that's explaining what everyone's feeling. That's when cinema is at its best, when it's what's not being said that is truthful.
I agree, and I'm always like, if I'm watching something and the actor doesn't have lines and you're sort of drawn to the reaction, it's always really like, oh, that actor's so like...
Yeah, speaking between the lines.
Yeah.
People don't speak in monologues in real life.
And if they do, they're annoying.
Yeah, some people do.
Beautiful, ain't it?
What is?
All of it. Every bit of it.
It's the magic of cinema, I think. It's just like you capture these moments, and then through editing and the score and all of that, I wanted to both portray moments that felt so beautiful and felt like he was luxuriating in them, but then also other times where like life's just going by so quickly that you almost can't keep up with it, and you look up and 5 years is gone and you're like, where did that go?
I think that's such a universal theme in the film, is that idea of the work-life balance. How much do we put into our work? How much do we find time for things that nourish us? Hopefully work is nourishing, but it's not always nourishing, and I think a lot of us are always wrestling with that balance, just as Granier is in the film, and that life isn't, you're at the mercy of certain circumstances as well. Life isn't perfect, and you kind of have to navigate it in the best way that you can.
I suppose that grief is a part, like death is such a part of life, right? And when we're like, you can't bring it up because everyone thinks you're a total downer. So nobody wants to talk about the fact that like everything and everyone you love is all going to disappear, and it's all going to be really hard and sad. And so therefore when you meet somebody, everybody at some point has been dealt like a hard blow. And so maybe just be a little bit compassionate to people and not like overly judgmental of people if they're very quiet or if they're very, reserved. You just don't know what people came from or what they went through. So that kind of changed my perspective on him, on people. That he's such a... He kind of doesn't, he keeps it all in and he doesn't really say it, so sort of thinking maybe I see people a little different.
Dealing with Robert's loss in the film is really just my ability to access what is really at the moment my greatest fear. I've got kids, and Clint and I have kids of the same age. His eldest
Not
and
together.
My kids, yeah. Yeah. We could. No, we'd have to get rid of those girls.
Yeah, right.
My greatest fear is that. So, and of course I think having kids and being in love, I think human cynical brains are wired such that when you have a thing that's precious to you, you've imagined what it's like to have that thing taken away from you. So, this film, on a performance level, is very personal, for me. I didn't feel like I was coming to work going, all right, what would it be like if this happened? And, you know, trying to stretch my imagination to some faraway experience. It was very much stuff that lives inside of me already.